let's dive straight into our exciting agenda. Kicking off the second day of Droidcon BD 2025, we have a powerful session on design systems, what it is, how to create one, and cut UI code by 50%. Get ready to dive deep into design efficiently with the founder of the Flutter Way and the Google developer expert, Anwar MD Abdullah. Give him a huge round of applause.
ধন্যবাদ। অ্যাট ফার্স্ট থ্যাংক ইউ সবাইকে যে আসার জন্য। ওয়েদারও ভালো না, আবার এত সকালে আজকে শনিবার, একটু ঘুমটা নষ্ট করে আসছেন, এর জন্য থ্যাংক ইউ সবাইকে। তো শুরু করার আগে আমি জাস্ট একটা ছোট একটা স্টোরি বলি, হ্যাঁ, কারণ আজকের ইভেন্ট আমার জন্য একটু স্পেশাল, একটু না অনেকটাই স্পেশাল। কেন স্পেশাল এটা বলতেছি। তো আমি প্রোগ্রামিং শুরু করছি, আচ্ছা কারা কারা অনেক আগে থেকে কোডিং করেন দেখি তো, মানে লাইক ওকে মোটামুটি সবাই। কত আগে বলতে কলেজ লাইফ থেকে শুরু করছেন বা ভার্সিটির ফার্স্ট ইয়ার? নাইস, মোটামুটি সবাই নাইস, এই কারণেই সবাই সিনিয়র, আমি জুনিয়র মানুষ। আচ্ছা যাই হোক, সো আমি শুরু করছিলাম যখন আমি স্কুলে ছিলাম, সর্ট অফ লাইক ক্লাস এইটের দিকে। আমি wordpress.com বা blogspot.com আমার নামে আমি ওয়েবসাইট খুলছি। ওইটা আমার লাইফের ওয়ান অফ দ্য হিউজ সাকসেস। আমি আমার নামে ওয়েবসাইট বানাইতে পারছি তখন। সো তখন অনেক ভালো লাগতো এই জিনিসগুলো, কিন্তু একটা জিনিস যেটা হইতো, যেহেতু ভালো লাগতেছে আমি কম্পিউটারে অনেক বেশি থাকতাম। তখন আমার মনে হচ্ছিল দুইটা জিনিস, একটা হচ্ছে আমি অনেক কম্পিউটারে বসে থাকি, এই কারণে চোখ শেষ, চোখ আমার শেষ, কারণ আমি অনেক কম্পিউটারে বসে থাকি। আর পড়ালেখা তো শেষ, সদাকল্লা, পড়ার চেয়ে আমি বেশি কম্পিউটারে বসে থাকি। সো এটার জন্য অনেক বকাচকা, অনেক কিছু অনেক করতো আমারে। এটা আই হোপ আপনারা অনেকেও খাইছেন বা ফেস করছেন। এই জিনিসটা কে ফেস করছেন যে কম্পিউটার বসার জন্য? নাইস। এই কারণে এই বকা খাওয়ার কারণে আসলে এখানে এতটা সিনিয়র আপনারা। তো বকা টকা দিত, সব ঠিক আছে, ওকে, এটা একটা গেল। যখন আমি ইন্টারে যখন উঠছি তখন কিছু লোকাল কাজ করতাম, ওকে। যখন ভার্সিটিতে গেছি কিছু ফ্রিল্যান্সিং কাজ আমি করতাম। তখন আম্মা তাও ভাইয়াদেরকে বলতেছিল আসলে ও কী করতেছে, ও এত কম্পিউটারে কেন চালায়। তাও ভাইয়ারা একটু বললো ওকে ঠিক আছে, কিছু করতেছে, খারাপ কিছু না। বাট ওনার একটাই কনসার্ন ছিল যে চাকরি। পড়ালেখা করতেছি না, সারাদিন কম্পিউটার চালাই, আসলে চাকরি কি আদৌ আমি পাবো কি না। পড়ালেখা করি না, কারণ ওই সময় এতটাও কমন না, লাইক আরও 5-7 বছর আগেও জিনিসটা কেউ এতটা জানতো না যে আপনি কম্পিউটার থেকে আর্ন করবেন। ইটস লাইক এ ড্রিম। তো ওই সময় কিছু হইলো। তারপরে যখন আমি 4th ইয়ারে যাই ভার্সিটির, তো আমি কিছু কাজ করছি, গুগল রিকগনাইজ করছে, বাংলাদেশে ফার্স্ট গুগল ডেভেলপার এক্সপার্ট হই। হওয়ার পরে আম্মা একটু খুশি হয়েছে, স্টিল ওনার সেম কথা, চাকরি পাবো কিনা এটা দিয়ে, পেট চালাইতে হবে। সো আজকে এই কারণে স্পেশাল, আমি দেশে বা দেশের বাইরে অনেক সেশন নিছি, 20টার উপরে আলহামদুলিল্লাহ আমার সেশন নেওয়া হয়েছে দেশে বা দেশের বাইরে। বাট আম্মা সবসময় জানতো আমার ইভেন্ট আছে, আমি যাব। দেশে থাকলে ওকে এত তারিখ আমার ইভেন্ট, বাইরে থাকলে ওকে আমি অত তারিখ যাব, অত তারিখ আসবো। এরপরে আমি কি করি না করি ওনার কোনো আইডিয়া নেই। বাট ফর দ্য ফার্স্ট টাইম আম্মা আসছে, যে আসলে ওনার ছেলে কি করে। কিছুই করে না, এখানে একটু আইসা বক বক করে চলে যায়, দ্যাটস ইট। সো এটা এই কারণে আজকে আমার এটা অনেক স্পেশাল, যে ফর দ্য ফার্স্ট টাইম আম্মা দেখতেছে আসলে আমি কি করি ইভেন্টে যাই। সো আর থ্যাংক ইউ সবাইকে ভাই এই কষ্ট করে এত সকালবেলা আসার জন্য, রিয়েলি অ্যাপ্রিসিয়েটেড। আপনাদের জন্য প্লিজ রাউন্ড অফ অ্যাপ্লজ। আমরা তো মোটামুটি এখানে সবাই ডেভেলপার। ডিজাইনের সাথে কার কার কাজ করার এক্সপিরিয়েন্স আছে? অনেকের সাথে, ওকে। এখন জিনিসটা মনে করেন, ডিজাইনার আপনার অনেক টাইট একটা ডেট শিডিউল আছে, আর ডিজাইনার আপনাকে বললো এই ডিজাইনটা দিয়ে যে টাইট শিডিউলে আপনার এই পুল টু রিফ্রেশটা আপনার করতে হবে অ্যাজ এ ডেভেলপার। আপনি আসলে কি করবেন? মনে করেন দিনের বেলা দেখাইলো, আপনি রাতে কি করবেন যে বাসায়? আমি হইলে এটা চিন্তা করতাম, যে ওকে কিছু একটা করা দরকার, জীবনে শান্তি দিতেছে না। সো মনে করেন আপনি অনেক চিন্তা করলেন, আপনার কলিগ ছিল, সো আপনি আপনার কলিগ একটা আইডিয়া পাইলেন, মেবি নেক্সট ডে আপনি ইমপ্লিমেন্ট করতে পারেন। আমি জানি না কার কাছে আইডিয়াটা ভালো লাগছে, এটা হচ্ছে আপনি আর আপনার কলিগ, ক্রাইম পার্টনার আর কি, ওকে। সো ইটস ওকে। এখন জিনিসটা হচ্ছে মাঝে মাঝে ডিজাইনার এমন কিছু কাজ করে যে ডেভেলপার আমরা দেখতে পারি না বা একটু সমস্যা হয় আমাদের, কারণ এক কাজের প্রেশার আরও কাজের প্রেশার বাড়ে। ওনাদের কথা হচ্ছে আমরা তো ড্র্যাগ অ্যান্ড ড্রপ করতেছি, করে ফেলো, তো করে ফেলো তুমি এই ড্র্যাগ অ্যান্ড ড্রপ কোডের মধ্যে। সো এটাই, বাট ইটস ওকে। বাট সামটাইমস ডিজাইনাররা অনেক বড় একটা ইম্প্যাক্ট ফেলে আমাদের লাইফে, আর আমার ক্ষেত্রে হয়েছে। সো এই টকটা ওইটা নিয়েই। বাট শুরু করার আগে লেট মি ইন্ট্রোডিউস মাইসেলফ। My name is Anwar MD Abdullah. I'm a Google developer expert, also a YouTuber. My channel name is The Flutter Way. If you are a Flutter developer, you can check out my channel if you're really interested more on advanced animation or UI related videos, because those are like stuff that I really love, and those are the things I do and I share on my channel. And also the number 6 at top dart developer global list actually in the startdev.io. Story is in 2021. This app name is 7crypt. That is their old design, and the CEO reached out to me, and he's like talking, hey, you are really good, and he's talking about the power of a Flutter, and they're thinking they're develop it in native, okay, and they're thinking, hey, if by chance we can shift our app native to Flutter, what are the advantages, disadvantages we get, and we'll talk. And we said, yes, I said, we can do that, no problem. There are some stuff, but we can fix it. So then he showed me that design, okay? That is the old one, that is the new design he want to develop for both same Android and iOS using Flutter. I said, okay, no problem, we can do that, no issues in Flutter. But there is a challenge. So what is the challenge? In 2021, I was like not that experienced. I'm also pretty new developer. I have some experience, but not that much like you guys. So he told me that we want to build a super app. So in 2021, that is not that common on that time. We haven't saw a lot of super apps here and there. So previous, what the people, specific task, specific product, they have a specific app. But he said, okay, we need to build a super app. So what does it mean by a super app? Let me clear. So that is the current design. Our food delivery app is like Food Panda or Uber Eats or delivery like DoorDash if you're like from outside Bangladesh, so you heard of them. So that is their current app. It's working pretty well. They have already pretty good customers still, but in future they have some plan. They told me in future once we develop it, they want to introduce grocery to the one. That is okay, no problem. It's like more on related stuff. We can do that. But he also said, and then once we are done with the grocery, we'll add one extra part, that is e-commerce. So now it's getting complex because it's a food delivery app, then it's grocery, okay, related, but e-commerce is different. And he told, once we launch e-commerce, we'll compete with Amazon. So that is like hard for me. In their country, they will compete with Amazon. So make sure. So my task is on more on the UI part. So what he said exactly, some of the stuff they really want from me as a developer. Number one, exact design, how the designer do. I have to make exactly the exact design, how the designer do. Okay, for me, I think I'm confident I can make it. Then he said, make sure my UI code is clean, because you know your version 1 to version 2, you make sure everything is perfect, your code is clean, you follow best practices. Obviously, that's why it's a big move for a company from like building the same stuff from scratch, also new stack. UI make sure it's clean. And the main challenge I have, future design ready. So what does it mean by future design ready? So he mean by that word like in future they will introduce grocery and e-commerce. So they want me to make sure once the designer for I don't know how the design look like, but they want me to do, I'll code in that way somehow in future when the designer do the design, we'll need less stuff or less hassle to implement that in design perspective, because my task was fully on design stuff, how I code the UI and everything, how it works. So I do some research on that. Not just that, obviously, they also have light and dark theme. Not just that one, also the future. Like I have to think about like what's going on after like 3 years, 4 years, because that has to be my ambition. What's going on after 3 or 4 years? Okay, and obviously, as simple as the best practice, you just not like write garbage code and think, okay, it will work fine because it's revamping and everything. But then first challenge is like we build the whole app in Flutter and we launch the app in Play Store. And the best part is we was really afraid because it's a big change, UI perspective and everything. They have pretty big users, but we're really afraid how the user really react. There's two ways. Otherwise really good, otherwise really bad because it's a massive change. There's no like small one. The good part is after we launched the version 2, within a week, we got more than 5,000 five-star ratings in both App Store and Play Store. People love the app that much. On that time, there were like 3 or 4 in their country, at least, but after 4 or 5 months, they become the #1 food delivery app in their country. And obviously, because of the design, this is what I believe, user experience and other kind of stuff. And not just that, also the design got a UI award from Adobe. It's a Behance. So that is the story. So in this talk, I just shared you what I learned working on it. That's it. That's my expertise. What are the stuff I face? What are the things I learned while developing in from 2021? Even right now in 2025, we're working the e-commerce part. Just they'll launch the preparing. I hope end of the year they'll launch the e-commerce part. So this talk is all about what I learned while working on it, more on UI stuff. Yes, we already have great a talk about Dinuri Bhai about the architecture and stuff, but there's one part, like there's a war between all this developer designer. There's something maybe we can do. So just I shared what I learned. That's it. That's my talk. Simple stuff. That's why I call it design system, because while I'm working on it, I first realized one thing or heard a term called design system, because as a developer, I don't know how many of you heard about or know what is a design system as a developer. Does anybody know? Okay, just few of them. Maybe you are really working with a developer, but it's not a common term as a developer for us. Then how it helps me to like implement it, and also how it helped me to create cut the UI code. I'll also explain. Okay, so I can't share you the exact production code, but I'll do the same stuff on an e-commerce app that I work. Here is the UI, you can see. It's pretty complex, but I implement the same design system and stuff. So how I do on this app, I'll explain to you guys, okay? At first, we need to, in this whole talk, I'll talk about 3 things. Number 1, you guess it. What is a design system? Because a lot of you guys don't know, or even as a developer, it's common stuff you don't know. And the second part is most important. When a designer do a design system, how does it look? Because as a developer, you also need to understand that. Otherwise, you can't implement it on your code. You have to understand how the design system looks when a designer shared, or how it is, what it is. And the final stuff that all the developer need, implementation. This is why we need to implement the design system in our app. So those are the 3 things I'll talk about. So first thing, if you are a developer, if you don't know what are the tools that a designer used. So as a UI UX designer, probably most of the designer, as of my knowledge, almost all of the designer use a tool called Figma. So it's a tool. It's okay if you don't know. It's something like drag and drop stuff. They design the UI, and I'll show you how it looks when they're completely done with the design. Or some of them, if they're really old or like posh, they maybe use Sketch. It's an Apple product, but it's not that common in our right now, at least. Okay, so for example, here is a sample stuff when the designer done with the work. That is how it looks. For example, that is the onboarding flow. Here you can see the authentication, like onboard, how it looks on the splash screen and everything. So as a developer, it gives us an exact idea how my app looks like exactly. And then what our goal is to just replicate the design. So we don't need to think about anything about the design. Everything is done by the design team or UI UX stuff. As a developer, previously what they shared the file and I just saw how the apps looks. That's it. That is my one concern. nothing else. What the designer do here, I don't care. I just care those screen, how it looks. Nothing matter for me. But when I do some research, I found one extra stuff all the designer do here, and that is a design system. That's I talk about it right now, design system. And once you take a good look, I don't know you can like see it on the left side. There they have a design system. On a tab they have all the design, but on the left side they have a design system that actually use a designer for their work internally. It's not like for us developer. They actually made that for them. But I found out it helpful for us. So here is the design system. So let me show you how it looks. Or before I show you how it looks, let me explain what it is so that you will get a better understanding. So design system in a simple word is nothing, just a place where a designer put everything they use in their design. For example, colors. What are the colors they use in your design? Doesn't matter, it's a website or an app. What are the icons they use? They put everything in this design system, or maybe small components, or maybe how does the form field look, and everything. Let me show you a picture. Those are just for idea. You can call this thing a design system. Why? As you can notice here, you have colors, we have icons, we have button, and every small component. It's not like big components. Sometimes they have big components, but depends. But all the small stuff that used in your app, you'll find it here. So I'll explain that like how the main design system or actual word design system look like. I'll show you a little bit. Just is for an idea. So for the definition, like textbook definition, you can say a design system is a comprehensive set of standards and reusable components. As a developer, we also use like reusable components. That is something a designer also used. And guidelines that designer use to build digital product or UI, US, or whatever you can see, make the feel and look consistent. That is a design system. So we are done with the first one. What is a design system? You have some idea, maybe you are not 100% clear, no problem. You had got an idea of what it is. Now come to the next point, the most important. What does it look like when a designer share on a real life project when you're working on the design team? So here is a small video. Here, if you go to the design system, you can see color, those are stuff. Okay, I think you are not able to see it properly. Okay, let me show you. Okay, here is my real world file. Here you can see all of my onboarding, authentication, product page, even the Dart theme, how it looks. As a developer, I always take a look about those stuff because that is how I need to work. But then I found out that this small part, a design system. Okay, so let me show it. So this in total, everything in combine, we call it design system. So let me show you what we have. At first, what the designer mentioned is the colors. What are the colors they have? Yeah, here a lot of colors. I'll talk about after a while about the colors, but here are the colors they say they use in the app. Those are the sister colors, warning and stuff. And those are the fonts they use. Jakarta they use here, regular, medium, bold. Those are the three stuff they use. And what are the heading size, heading 2, and everything. Everything they mention here, the text stuff and everything. And there is one thing extra here, spacing. They said 8-grid spacing, but not of the most of the designer don't show you that. It's like an extra effort they're doing. It's not really common. If you don't show on a project in a design system, hey, we don't have anything spacing. It's not really common. They are not really, but here they just for us. Explanation, they use it, how they use the spacing, but it's not common. And they also here, as you can see, mention how the button looks. For example, in the normal state, it looks like that. Once you pressed, it looks a little bit deeper maybe. And when you disable the button, how the button is look. And maybe when you click it, something is going on under the hood. How does the button look? Here is the state. So those are the simple steps the designer design when they actually work on the design before. Those are the small stuff. So it's also a developer, you also get some idea how the designer step and look, and other kind of buttons that they use into the. Those are the stuff they actually use into the app, how the icon button looks like, and tab stuff if they have, and check mark, and every stuff. and those currently available, not available, how does those look? Small stuff, not too much, but really, really small stuff. They just put it here. Now those, let's go to the, and let's come to the next one. And here is the input field. How does they look? He just mentioned it here. For example, default, if there is nothing going on here, when selected, they start typing, how the borders look like and stuff. And once you are done with typing, how does it look? Those are the small, if there is any error, how does it look? So it's just, as a developer also, it gives you an idea how all the state and everything is one step. And password field stuff, those, and all the icons they used. For example, what I do previously, I go to a screen and see, okay, I don't have that icon, I export it and use it. But I don't know, in a single place, they have all the icons. Now what I do, I just grab all the icons, export it to my project at once. So I don't have to worry about it. I don't know the exact, those are the icons they use. I just export it as busy. And illustration is another stuff. It's not really common for all the app. It's like for this app, they made custom illustration. That's why they show it here for both and light theme. That's it, and other stuff, they maybe use profile, image, and flag is anything, is there anything. So those are the stuff they have in design system. Now come to the slide. So we know how does the design system look. Now the question is how you implement that in your code, because that is more important stuff as a developer you need to do. You have to understand and implement it in your app. So let's start with the color, okay? Okay, before, how many of our like Flutter developers? Let me see. Okay. Okay, nice. A lot of our Flutter developer, but those who are not a Flutter developer, just simple explanation. Those are the default Flutter project. When you create inside a material, you have a place called ThemeData where you can implement the central design of your app, just for understanding. If you are not for a Flutter stuff, here you can publish your global design like color and everything. So when I go to the color section, I see a lot of colors, like a lot of shaders. And my reaction is like, what? How can I use that many color in my designs? Even Flutter as a developer, like, what the hell? As a developer, we just know like 3 or 4, black, white, green, blue, yellow, maybe those stuff. We don't care about color, but that many colors? It's like, if I convert them like more than 100, then I realize one thing, those are the colors that the company have for branding. It's not about they using the app. It's about all the colors they have for maybe marketing purposes or logo. Those all things they actually have it here. And that's why it looks too much. But if you take a close look to the like UI, then you can see there is like 3 or 4 colors, to be honest, the designer actually use. For example, here is our primary color. And look at the title color, it's dark. And the same color they used here, the black one. And there is a gray color here for all the text, same color. And here is a green for like stuff. And those are the 4, and some colors, gray colors for the text field. Those are the colors, if you notice, if in this 3 page, those are different 3 pages, login, product, and no product, other stuff. Those 4 and 5 colors they actually used, entire app. So we don't need to use all of our colors. Just take a look at the UI and grab what are the colors you need. So I got the UI. So for UI, I get the primary color, that is that one. The title color, that is that one. Also, the title color I use for my back button, same black color. I'm not gonna repeat it again. And that body text color is that one. And the gray color is for text field. There's 3 layers of gray color in the text field. Like one is very light for the bottom, and both 2 is icon and hint text. And success warning error is like default. How does it looks? So on a theme that I said, we mentioned the color. So here we just mentioned it normal stuff. And same on icon theme, I mentioned my title color stuff. And for the font, there is another challenge. They use H1, H2, and different stuff. And what I do, let me show you on my, I just mention what are the font family they use, and if there are any specific colors, like for text, they use a grayish color, I just mention it. And I don't really use the color like font size H1 is 21. I don't create custom font family or custom font style for according to designer. Like for example, they create H1, which is 24, but there is already a theme or text theme for Flutter developers. I use that because on my experience, I found out that that really works fine for me. So let's say if they were heading H1, that is like 22 or 24, I'll use the title large, that is 22. Similar stuff, and I think it works better. Also accessibility, because sometimes some people zoom their text and stuff. If you don't use that, you'll face some issue or more work on the accessibility. And those are the icons that export it, use it. So now let me show you how the design system actually helps you. For example, when I coded that screen, that is a Flutter code. Inside a column, I just need to define my other stuff, image and text. And inside the form, I just mention my form. And at the end, I just mention my button. That's simple code, nothing fancy here. So initially, it looks like that. So here is the challenge to make the UI clean. The challenge is we are not gonna change a single line of code here, but we want our UI to exactly how it looks. For example, here, we are not gonna change a single line of code here, but I want my UI on the left side. So how can we do that? The thing is, as you can see here, to change the button how we need to add those style here. But the thing is, we also have the button in a lot of places. So what I see a lot of us do, we create a primary button and a component for like, it's pretty common. Yes, there is no problem, but the thing is, you created the primary button. It's not in Flutter. So on your documentation, you need to mention it. And I don't know, as a developer, I don't like documentation. It's like extra pain of work. I can code a whole day. I can't write documentation for it once. And also, newcomer, you have to say, hey, for primary buttons, I use primary button. I don't want that. So what is the best solution? I want exact same elevated button, but I want the exact same stuff. So how can I do that? Just copy the style, paste it in our theme, and now whenever I use elevated button, I have the design. It saves me 2 ways. No lines of code, and the newcomer don't have to worry about what is the primary button. Use the default Flutter button, and it just works. Nothing else. You have to worry. I don't need to teach him or everything. I'm not the guy. I'm the one that I am the documentation stuff. So he just know. And same goes for the input decoration, input field, and other stuff. I just, how the design look, I mention it in the theme, and look. I haven't changed a single line here, but my apps look exactly like how we have in the design. That is what a power of a design, understanding design system and implement it on your app. And same for the dark theme. Here is my light theme, exactly same stuff, how does it look and not. The same, I mentioned it in the dark theme, and look at the magic. Haven't touched anything here. My apps entirely look perfect on both light and dark theme. Nothing else, I haven't changed anything in this code. It just work. And there is other simple trick that I use most of the time because as I said, I use just few colors, but there is some other color that designer use. For example, look at this dot indicator. I have the black color, but I don't have the gray color. So I have 2 options. One is I can find out how can I get it. Otherwise, I'll get the color from design and use. So if you do that, there's a lot of color you need to add from your design system. But there is one trick that I use. Like, it works for me, I don't know, it's up to you, you can use it. For example, our icon color is black. I get it. What I do, when I call it, I'll get a color. But what I do, I just change the opacity. It gives me the grayish color. So I don't need to get extra. Just you need to play with the opacity, 25, 30, whatever, because those are the gray stuff. You'll get that color. So I don't need to add any extra color. Because more color, more pain. I need to remember. So it's just like, but one thing you need to keep in mind, like all are consistent. There is one drawback, because sometimes for the same color the designer used, they have exact color. Sometimes you can use 25 or 3. It's hard as a developer, but If you think you can keep it mind, you can do it. I think it's okay. Every solution have is their problem. So that is the problem is here. So here with Chief, I got it. So that's how I use it. And if you'd like to check this, how I mentioned the theming and stuff, you can scan the code. You'll get the free version of the Premium UI toolkit that I sell. If you need it, just ping me on the LinkedIn. I'll give it to you for free. But on the free version, you'll understand how I implement the whole theming, whole UI, and everything. That's it. Thank you guys for your patience. I don't know if you guys have any questions. Don't ignore the meme, okay? I'm not gonna give you that look. You can ask it.
So as now we are using AI tools and chat GPTs and other stuff, so do you think that it's making your work easier or it's also making your work harder? Maybe one day someone might not engage with a developer to build their app or their site, or they will just hire or get the subscription of an AI tool and give the work to them. So what do you think about this, and what do you see in future, what will happen if the AI will be more stronger, and what will be the place for us, like the developers and those who are studying in the computer science realm? Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Nice questions. So the thing is AI hype is everywhere. We are all developers, we know it helping us. To be honest, it makes us faster and better, to be honest, if you know how to use it, obviously, if you know how to use it. Otherwise, it will and another thing, yes, if you say in future, if we are worried about someone really replace us, let them, because a developer actually building them. So let's see if they really replace us. To be honest, I don't think so, because still now they are not that good, but what I believe, they make us better and faster. Maybe without AI, what you can do in like 3 hours with AI in future, not now, to be honest. On my experience, maybe you can do it in 1 hour, maybe, or 10 hours, I don't know. So is there anyone have any questions, stuff, or you can ask me any questions about like GD, how I become the Google level expert or stuff, if there anyone really interested or stuff. Oh, yes, please. থ্যাংক ইউ ফর আস্কিং দ্য কোশ্চেন। এটা অনেক ভালো একটা কোশ্চেন, যে অনেকে ইন্টারেস্টেড থাকে যে আমি গুগল ডেভেলপ এক্সপার্ট আসলে কীভাবে হয়েছি। আমি আসলে হয়ে গেছি, ইটস এ লাক। আমিও জানি না আসলে আমি কীভাবে হয়েছি। দ্য স্টোরি ইজ লাইক ওয়ান থিং, আমার কাছে কী কী জিনিস আমাকে হেল্প করছে, জাস্ট কারণ আমার অনেক শর্ট টাইম জাস্ট শেয়ার করে দিয়েছি। কিছু জিনিসে ওপেন সোর্স কন্ট্রিবিউশন অনেক হেল্প করছে, হেল্পিং দ্য কমিউনিটি অনেক কন্ট্রিবিউশন। যেমন আমি ইউটিউব ভিডিও বানাইতাম, এটা থেকে আমার কোনো আর্নিং বা ওই লেভেল আর্নিংও হয় না, এটাতে আমার কোনো মাথা ব্যথাও নেই। জিনিসটা আমি করি, আমার ভালো লাগে, আমি শেয়ার করি। নাম্বার 2, আমার গিটহাবে 13,000 ফলোয়ার আছে। সো গিটহাবে একটা জিনিস হচ্ছে যে একটা ফলোয়ার 1 মিলিয়নের মতো বলে, এই যে মিম, বাট আমার 13,000 ফলোয়ার আছে, 30,000-এর মতো স্টার আছে। ইভেন এখানে অনেক কিছু গুগল আরও স্টার দিছে, গুগল আরও আমাকে ফলো করে। সো দোজ আর দ্য স্টাফ আমি করতেছিলাম জাস্ট ফর ফান, আমার স্যাটিসফ্যাকশনের জন্য। আমি একটা কাজ করছি, স্টার আসছে, বাট সামহাও আমি জানতাম না যে এগুলো ট্র্যাকও হয়। আপনি দেখতেছেন, আরেকজন দেখতেছে, দেশের বাইরেও কেউ দেখতেছে, গুগলও তো দেখতেছে না, গুগলেরও তো কেউ দেখে অ্যাট দ্য এন্ডে। সো দ্যাটস হাউ দে রিচ আউট টু মি। দ্য জার্নি ইজ লাইক ওয়ান ডে গুগল ম্যানেজার আমার লিঙ্কডিনে নক দিছে, এই কারণে সবাই লিঙ্কডিনে থাকেন যে তুমি জিডি হওয়া কি না। আমি বলি হওয়া তো যায়। দ্য রেস্ট ইজ ইউ ক্যান সি। থ্যাংক ইউ ফর আস্কিং দ্য নাইস কোয়েশ্চেন। থ্যাংক ইউ।